Hi everyone and welcome back to Isolation Station. This is the Antisocial Distancing Podcast. We're on episode 8 of the podcast today. It's been almost 2 months since we started and we're on it's almost over for some of us, of the quarantine. And we're joined today by Maria Daniela Diaz, who, if you've been in the school, you've definitely seen and you've almost certainly heard. Maria Daniela, how are you?
Hello, Mr. George. It's good to see you. And thanks. I'm very well. I'm great, actually.
Fantastic. And so, how have you been enjoying the quarantine?
Not too much, but I'm getting there.
Well, I mean, everyone finds it difficult, but there's obviously highlights. What would you say that your highlight of the quarantine has been?
I think my mom cooking too much. That's definitely.
Well, what would you say is the best thing that your mum has cooked?
Tacos. They were amazing.
When did she cook these tacos?
She cooked it for my sister's birthday, actually.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, having also experienced the birthday in the quarantine, I can tell you that the experience would definitely be improved with my family together and some tacos. So I can expect that the situation must have been definitely improved by those.
Yeah, it was.
Fantastic. Well, Maria Daniela, I asked you here because I think out of a lot of young people at MIC, you've definitely had the most interesting life, right? There's a lot of things that that we can talk about, and actually, we have. When I was your tutor 2 years ago, we talked about a lot of things, and I thought that some of the things that you've been through have been so interesting, and I thought that what better way to talk about them would be through a podcast 2 years later. So today I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Quarantine Tracks. So Maria Daniela, you're going to tell me an album that has impacted you, a movie that has impacted you, and a TV show that has impacted you. And we will talk a little bit about what those things mean for you. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
So the first thing that I think we should talk about is the album that has impacted you. What's the album that, if you were quarantined and you were on your own, what album would you take with you?
Actually, I have. That's an anecdote. That's a fact. It is the album Waco Guajiro. That is for they call themselves like the Super Banda de Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's remarkable to me because when in Venezuela I bring it with my family, we always hear it, and it's very popular in Venezuela. I mean, if I go to the street and I hear, it's normal.
Well, I guess there's lots of people that really have those sort of things that remind them of their childhood and growing up. What was life like growing up for you in Venezuela?
Well, I think the most I remember because 12. The most I remember is family reunions, Sunday of family, family foods, most of all family. I think the family is always have been the most important things to me since until today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's that. I mean, go to the Waka family and being a long weekend there. I think that mostly.
And tell me one of your most cherished anecdotes of the time spent with the whole family together.
Okay. So a part of my famous dad had a waka, let's call it like that. And every long weekend or every vacation or every week that we had free, we get in touch and we say like, let's go everyone to the Waka. And there's a big house that we all stay there for the week or for the weekend. And in the mornings, every day we eat arepas con queso, pan huevo. And for the lunch, we eat pasta, like bolognese.
Mm-hmm.
We can be five days in the Waka, and the 5 days we breakfast arepas and lunch pasta. 5 days.
Sounds like heaven.
Actually, it is because the cookers were my aunts with my mom, and they have a really good taste to cook.
Fantastic. Well, it's a really lovely story about your time in Venezuela. We'll move
And
on.
in fact, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
When they were cooking, they put guaco, and
Excellent.
it's like my cousin and I were to the kitchen and helped him a little bit while they were dancing, and it was really cool, really familiar.
Mm-hmm. And so when you listen to that sort of music, that's some of the things that you're reminded of.
Yeah, of course. And not only those moments, it's I mean, when we were, every month we went to Maracaibo because my dad works. And in Maracaibo lived my padrino. And every time we spent a weekend together, those songs are essential.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, moving on, we've talked a little bit about the album that you would take with you on this quarantine. I bet you can't imagine being quarantined.
Yeah.
Now we'll move on and talk a bit about a movie that's very important for you.
A movie, I think, Papita Manito Son, that is about a girl and a boy that in Venezuela it's very popular, it's very famous, like we're fans of baseball, and La Liga Venezolana de Béisbol is super popular in Venezuela. And the movie is about a girl that is a manager is the manager of a team called the Magallanes, and he is the only fan, the team of Los Leones, and between them are like enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Magallanes and Los Leones played, they were like, it was a really big event. So the trauma was like they fell in love, but their families don't approve it because one was for the Magallanes and one was for the Leones. That's
Like a
Sentimento Nacional. Yeah, the
a
family.
baseball Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, basically like that. And even they had a part two, and in the final of the part two, they had a kid, and the like in part of her family, the Magallanes, yeah, yeah, and part of his family, Los Leones, yeah, yeah, and her head was it's really funny. It's really good, the movie.
Fantastic. Baseball, I hear, runs in your family a bit.
Yeah, because well, my dad plays with his um company in Venezuela.
Mhm.
He played for them because they had a team, and my great grandfather was the founder of one of the teams of the La Liga, that was Los Tigres. So yes, it's very important to us. And even I remember very I think closely. Every game we went to the games, and always they give us the las pelotas, the balls
Mm-hmm.
that they use at the end if we win. That was like a ritual. It was really cool, and we were family. My uncles, my aunts, and my dad like have their chelitas, and it was really cool.
Fantastic.
Also, my cousins, yeah,
So something that connects quite a lot of the places that you've lived is baseball, and so obviously after leaving Venezuela, the first place that you and your family went to was the United States.
yeah. I'm sorry, can you repeat, please?
Yeah. So obviously baseball is very important in Venezuela. It's also very important in the United States, and so the United States was the first place that when you and your family had to leave Venezuela, you went there.
Yeah, in fact, it was only my sister and I that we went to US. It was really like fast. One day, my dad and my mom um, told us like, you're going to Houston with the family, and you're gonna stay there 1 month and a half, and then you're gonna come back. And if the things going like we think they're supposed to go in, we're going to Peru in December.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, okay. And for all of this, there was 4 years that we haven't seen our family in Houston. So it was a big deal for us. So I remember perfectly the date. It was August 5 that I leave Venezuela. I left Venezuela and I went to Houston. My mom took us to Aruba, like for a stop.
Mm-hmm.
We say goodbye, etc. We went to Houston, and it was really, really great. Then I remember the September 10th. My mom called us by FaceTime, and she told us like, "You're not going back to Venezuela. You're not going back, and you're gonna stay there until we find out how you're gonna come to Peru."
Mm-hmm.
And we went like we were shocked. There are so many people I left behind without saying goodbye. Like, for example, my grandma,
Mm-hmm.
um, my nana. She was like a mother to me, and my cousin, my favorite cousin, that is like my brother. Is only too much people I didn't say goodbye properly. I left Venezuela without knowing I wasn't going to come back.
Yeah, it must be extremely difficult, and obviously finding out with no prior knowledge that you're not going to go back and you're going to go to another country. It must have been extremely difficult.
Yeah. In fact, the first week we, my sister and I, were like, let's say, in depression because we went back to school and we stayed in our bedroom until the dinner was ready. And school or and the most thing we have to like accept or deal with it was the thing that there's some people that we don't gonna see again
Yeah.
until today.
Right. And then obviously, then you had to say goodbye to people in Houston, and you had to come to Peru. What was that experience like?
Well, we passed 4 months and a half without seeing my mom and my dad. So in part, we were very excited by because we're gonna see them, and we're very excited. I remember the December 17th, we came to Peru and we arrived December December 19 or 18. And when I saw my dad and my mom was like, I cried too much. And I am not a cry person. I don't cry. I definitely don't cry. But when I see them, I cry too much because I have passed too much things without them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was difficult. It was hard. And well, we come to Peru. They were to we arrived Lima, and they were in Lima. They received us in Lima, so we came to Trujillo together. And when I came here to this apartment, there was nothing, nothing, nothing. Not even a chair, not even a living room. I mean, there was a living room, but without sofa and anything. There was no television, nothing. The only thing they were was the chairs in the kitchen and the beds. That's only it were. And it was shocked. I mean, it was like starting over.
Right.
And we were happy because we were here. It was a new experience. We have learned so much things. Be alone with, I mean, not strangers because we were with family, but be alone in the term without my parents was difficult. It's not the same when you are with your parents and when you're not. It's so much different.
Absolutely.
We have grown up, we have learned, and we were here. We didn't. I think we didn't like recognize, or we didn't realize how hard it was going to be. We were excited because it was an experience, as I said, but we didn't realize it was going to be that hard that it was. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, Things that really you can, like, if you haven't experienced those, you can only imagine sort of the difficulty that those things really bring. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing. And we move on to our third choice. We move on to uh, your the TV show that you would take with you in isolation.
The TV show, I think, is Somos Tú y Yo. That I think even it passed it here because it was international. I mean, it was really a really big project, but it was Venezuelan. I remember when I was 8 or 7 that my sisters see it in their bedroom, and I joined them, and it was really cool. The song, it's like you were like a musical, and the songs we were dancing in the shower, or when we were dressing up for a dinner or X, we listen to those songs. I mean, that's like my childhood.
Hmm. Fantastic. So what is Somos Tú y Yo about?
Okay, Somos Tú y Yo is about a girl that moved to Caracas. She's from Valencia, and she moved to Caracas, and she go to a new school. Like, she's new into school, but her style, it was like hippie. It's like no common. So the mean girls say like bad things to her, and they were like really fancier. So she fell in love with a guy, and the musical going on, and the drama keeps going.
Fantastic. Yeah. Sounds very different. But obviously, a TV show like that, it it's very similar to your life. So you moved to a new country and you started a new school where you didn't really know anyone. Uh, what were your first sort of first impressions of Nick?
Okay, I'm gonna be really honest. When I get to Peru, my mom told me like, you're gonna speak English, like your school is in English and Spanish, and you're gonna have to learn Germany. And I really cry. I say I don't want to go to school. I don't going to school. And in fact, my mom told me, okay, you're not gonna go to school, but you have to. If you're not gonna be educated like we want to you to be, you're gonna have to work by your side. And I was like, okay, but what am I gonna work? And I'm like, my mom make me clean bathrooms for me to go want to go to school.
Hmm.
At the end, the day come, and I remember the first like classes that I had was the los principios alemán,
Hmm.
and I love it. I loved learn Germany, and the school, like my first impression was like, wow, I haven't seen that, not in Knox, in my school in Houston, or in El San Jose, that my school in Venezuela. And when the classes start, and the months passed, I feel great. I think one of the things that helped me adapt here was my school, my teachers. They helped me like get in, like get really in, and they support me. Like we're here if you need it. I know that you're passing a very hard time, but we're here. They support me very much. One more time, I cried in a classroom, and they took me to outside, and I talked to many times, and I can feel that they were there. They understand me,
Hmm.
and it was really nice. I love Mick. I never wanna leave Mick. I love all the teachers. You were my first teacher. I
Hmm.
remember, and I thank you that very much, because I have a big appreciation to you. I appreciate you too much. The same to Mr. Emilia, Mr. Willie, that was the first teachers of the freshmen that year, and it was really nice knowing that you were for me there.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that is really fantastic about Mick is the fact that there are so many teachers who have had so many different experiences, and obviously um, lots of teachers who have also had to come to a new country, people who are younger, who are older. Everyone at all the teachers at Mick have very different life experiences, and I think one of the things that is fantastic is that they're able to talk to students very differently to each other.
Yeah, I really like that about Mick. That if you had a really close teacher-student relationship, it's not like different.
Hmm.
It's already there. It's normal. I mean, I all the mornings I talk to you. I sit in your desk and I talk to you, and it was great. I told you my life, the problems I have passing through. And same with Miss Yvonne.
Hmm.
She was a really big support to me the first year, and I don't know. I feel great in that way.
Fantastic. And so, if we think about Mick and how you've grown in the past 2.5 years, what are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself getting?
Well, I already know that here I'm gonna be for several years here in Peru, and I'm not mad at it, because I'm already here. This is my new life. I have to deal with it, and I think after finish school I'm gonna do the IB, and then I have a friend that is called Dani. She lives in Lima, and we're planning go to US and like be roommates together because she's gonna study medicine and I planning to study nutrition, and we're planning to living together like roommates because we're gonna study in the same university.
Oh,
My
fantastic.
plans are finish school, go to US, study there where is my family in Houston, in Texas, and stay with her, be in touch with my family, with my sister that live there, and yeah, that's are basically my plans.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I don't think when I was your age I had all my life planned out like you have, but I suppose that um, coming to a new country and starting from the beginning, it really makes you think about the future and where you're going to be.
Yeah, when I was 12, for example, I didn't thought about the future, about how it's going to be after whatever. And coming to Peru or passing all the things I passed made me think too much things like what I'm gonna do after, what if, whatever, and that's what I think to do, but all can happen. I mean, I can change my country again. I can live here, and I don't know. I don't know what is gonna happen. That's what I think, and now that I have grew up, I have matured. I think I don't know. The things gonna be easier. They never are, but normally it's gonna be like I passed already. So
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, there were some three really great choices, but one other thing that you're allowed to take in this hypothetical quarantine is something extra, a luxury item. So, what would you say that your luxury item would be?
talking about food, I think my mom's capresa. It's like a salad that is with tomatoes, mozzarella cheese, um, albahaca. I don't know how
Basil.
to call it in English. Yeah, and olive oil and lime. It's like a mixture, really good. My mom does. It is actually from my family because my grandma every time she saw me, she makes me my capresa for me and my dad. And here that I have my grandma, unfortunately, my mom does to me. But I
So,
think that
absolutely, and you can tell by all of your choices that family is really important to you. And
yeah, family until today and all my life, my parents have like told me family is the most important thing, and until today, that is. I'm always thinking about my family. If I have to choose between my friends or family or going to a party or family, it's always gonna be family. I mean, I since Houston, I for the things of Venezuela has happened, I can in the time I was in Venezuela, we weren't able to go to Houston to see my family for 4 years. So that the 4 months and a half that I passed there with them, we made a strong un lazo fuerte,
mhm.
and it's really hard to take it. So now talking to my aunts, to my cousins, it's really normal. Like it's a ritual actually. It's like a tradition. Every night or every week, I call them. Say like, I really hope to see you again. In fact, I hope to the summer after all this end. I hope the summer I pass there with them in
That would be
Houston.
absolutely fantastic. I can imagine that it's something really to look forward to.
Yeah, actually it is. my aunts in Houston were like my moms in the time. They helped me so much. They thank you to them. I can say that I am who I am, and all the thing I passed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast this week. And I think that
Thank you to
um,
you to invite me, and once again, it's nice to see you, Mr. George.
you too. I mean, it's been, what has it been, three months since we've been at school.
Yeah, you don't teach me anymore, so
No,
I'm really happy.
yeah. Well, it was fantastic seeing you. Thank you so much for talking. It was extremely interesting, and I think that everyone listening thinks that enlightening information that you've given really makes you think about what's important for us. So thank you very much, and yeah, if any of you would like to appear as a guest on the podcast, or you have any ideas for possible guests to come on, maybe to talk about some important parts of their lives, then get in touch. Let us know on the Mick Instagram page, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Mr. George. Thank you.
Thank you.